good morning to you, Grenada, and the rest of the world. Yes, sir, it's a Monday morning as the countdown to 2020 continues. Here's hoping that you're bouncing off a fabulous weekend. Excuse me for laughing here. Just a couple of minutes ago, I was messaging with Penny. Penny is desperately trying to be the first to log on. And I think she said she was ready since about 8:30 this morning, waiting to log on. But I see that she's been beaten again, not just beaten, she's been walloped because Ernesto wins the prize this morning. Hazel is second, Joan Wellington's third, Manusart Alexander is fourth, Grenada Sunshine is fifth. Penny, where are you? I guess she gave up. Penny, don't give up, girl. Keep on trying. Keep on trying. Keep on trying. So, Pilgrims, yeah, I certainly hope you had a great weekend. I know I did. We had a great program yesterday. Ooh. Just shows you where we're going. I'm glad that you were able to join us this morning. We've got some interesting stuff, including a couple of flashbacks to yesterday's program for those of you who missed it. And T.F. Richards is on the road in Louisiana this morning. Yesterday he was in Tennessee and I think Alabama. And now this morning he is in Louisiana. Hey, good to see you guys. Kept playing is sending God's blessings. Anthony Park is there as well. And Fitzroy Adams, good morning to all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And here comes Anthea Rollo. Yes, sirree. Anthea, yesterday, who was it I was talking to, boy? I think it was either Dennis or Robert Marichal. I think so. Your name came up. Good to see you anyway. And Benedict Cador is saying it's a marvelous Wednesday morning. And Claude Pudna is there as well, saying good morning to you guys. So, now that everybody, well, not everybody, but quite a few of you are already on board, let's settle down and see what's cooking here over the next hour or so. And as I said, thanks again. I guess it's I don't really expect to see too many people this morning. And the same for tomorrow morning because, you know, with all the excitement leading up to the new year, a lot of people are certainly going to be preoccupied. Okay, so here we go. This morning, we got a lot of videos for you this morning. First one is one which I did promise yesterday that I would play, but unfortunately, because of some hiccups we had getting one of our participants on board and all the turmoil, we missed that. But I'm going to play it for you this morning. It's a calypso by someone by the name of Nappy Mayer. He's from Trinidad. And that piece is titled, Bring Back the Old Time Days. Boy, I hope you're going to listen carefully to the lyrics of that piece this morning. Because boy, you know, I remember that thing is old, by the way. I remember that since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Yeah, it's old. But very meaningful, very meaningful. So please check it out. Anthony DeRiggs, who was with us on the program yesterday, he also did a piece, I think it must have been done yesterday or the day before, where he remembers the old Empire Cinema on the Carronage, just down the road there. Yes, we're going to play that for you this morning. Of course, we do have the national report for you. And then, as I mentioned earlier on, we're going to show you some excerpts from yesterday's program. Boy, oh boy, was that a good one. A lot of feedback. Thank you so much to the participants who joined us either on Zoom or in the case of Beverly. Beverly was sitting right here with me. It was nice to see you guys. And to those of you who contributed on social media, thank you so much. The two pieces we're going to run, the first one is titled, A Change in the Mindset Towards Foreign Investment is Urgently Needed. Yeah, man. That's where you're going to hear Mr. Dennis Charles share some of his thoughts with us. And I identify with what the man said, okay? I identify, but I'm always very guarded because sometimes there are people who misrepresent things. I don't think he was misrepresenting anything yesterday. But there are some people who speak out in a malicious way. And thank God that was not the case yesterday. He is genuinely concerned about foreign investment, and so are a lot of other people. But you watch the piece and decide for yourself. That's one of the pieces we're going to run this morning from yesterday. And the other part, Lamenting Lost Grenadian Traditions. You know, so many of us are so thankful to what Anthony has been doing with his sojourn, if you will, on Facebook. Brings back a lot of memories. And yesterday, he and T.F. Richards and Dennis and Anthony, they were all reminiscing about the good old days and some of the traditions we have lost. And I don't think we'll ever be able to bring them back. But we need to learn from them, learn, and then chart the way forward, okay? So lamenting the lost Grenadian traditions, yeah, we're gonna do that. Now, we have now been joined by one half of the Vespre family. Bradley is saying good morning. I don't know where his wife is. She'll probably pop up in a little while. Kathleen Thomas is saying good morning to you guys, and John Franco says, oh, what a beautiful day. Indeed, here it is as well this morning, and another, it's a good day because it's a big cruise ship in here this morning. And Sonia Macklin Scott is also sending greetings to everybody. And here he comes, John Nozenek is saying good morning from dependency number 1. So there you have our good mornings. Now, let's settle down to business. 8 minutes after the hour already. Boy, time's zipping along. As we prepare to enter the new year, 2020, we're hopeful that many of our dreams will be fulfilled and that we will have learned from the lessons taught to us by our past. Yesterday, we looked back at some of the opportunities that lay ahead and some of the mistakes that must be avoided. We will never be able to bring back the good times of the past. But at the same time, there is no reason why we should forget them. This calypso by a Trinidadian by the name of Nappy Mayers surely reminds us of that. Check it out.
thought to live right, just to feel nice, didn't need no paradise. Now open your eyes, look around, smoke in the city, and what was pretty, crying out for sympathy. So bring back the old time days, bring back them old time ways. I know everything must change, but I still love the old time days. Used to be everyone cared for each other, lived like brothers, respected one another. In times gone by we used to share, together we'd make do. And if I draw a susu, what was mine was yours too. I know them days done past and gone, and I know that life must carry on. But if I must join in with the pack, then I'm going back, I'm going back, yeah, yeah, back to the old time days, back to them old time ways. I know everything must change, but I still love the old time days. Yes, bring back the old time days, bring back them old time ways. I know everything must change, but I still love the old time days. Bring it back, bring it back, just bring it back, bring it back. Bring it back, bring it back.
So how many of you remember that track? What a classic that was back in our day. You know, I see here that John says some really nice artwork, George, indeed, John, and I'll tell you, there's one piece in there in particular. It's of a little boy climbing a coconut tree. Now, let me be honest with you. The only thing I could climb is stairs. Stairs. Know the steps in your house? Yeah. But as a kid, we had a short coconut tree back of our house in Grenville. And our way of getting up on that tree, my brother and I, we built a ladder, put it on the tree. I may have told you a story some time ago. We're not going to get into that this morning, but I may have told you a story before. That ladder and that coconut tree caused me to get the only spanking I got in my life. And what a spanking that was. We'll deal with that some other time. We have also been joined now by the other half of the Vespre family. Good morning to you, Carlene. And let's see, Ernesto says, good morning, Gigi, again in rainy New York as we're gearing up for the biggest celebration in the world, the dropping of the ball, bring in 2020 tomorrow night. Yeah, you know, yeah. Tomorrow night's gonna be a memorable night for me. 2 years since I had one of the biggest scares in my life. Where I live here, I have a perfect view of the Carnage and Belmont and Grand Dance and Point Celine. And on New Year's Eve, everybody sends out these fireworks, you know. Well, 2 years ago, I sat on the balcony there looking at fireworks. And when I was through with that, because our fireworks occur just 1 hour ahead of the dropping of the ball in New York. When I watched our fireworks, I went to watch the New York celebration. And folks, it was then that I actually thought I was having a heart attack. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, that was scary. Called an ambulance, wound up in hospital. Thank God it wasn't a heart attack. But it was something just as bad, something called a pulmonary embolism. Yeah? Pulmonary embolism. But by His grace, here I am. So who knows what tomorrow night holds? Ain't gonna happen again. Okay, so how many of you remember the old Empire Cinema on the Carnage, right here in St. George's? Our good friend Anthony DeRiggs does. And here are some of his recollections on that landmark. Check this out.
Now, one of the things I do and like doing is documenting our history and our culture. It is very, very important. The Chinese, the Americans, the Italians, the Greek, they document, they put it down, and we read about them. And we too have a history, and we have a culture that we should know about, and our children should be aware of. It was Marcus Garvey, I cannot repeat this too often. It was Marcus Garvey who said that a people without knowledge of their history and the culture is like a tree without roots. You don't have any roots. You don't know who you are. So we talk about our culture, our history. Now, today, I want to talk about Empire Cinema, because Empire Cinema on the Carnage stood there years ago, meant a lot to us, especially in the holiday season, Christmas time, what we call Old Year's Night, which they want to change to New Year's Eve, I see. Now, Empire Cinema and the midnight show, where crowds gathered Christmas Eve to see the midnight show. And in them days was a wonderful affair. So the picture that you're seeing there, taken from Patrick Nichols' website on Facebook, of the Empire, right in the middle there, that blue and white building there, next to the cigarette factory, the Phoenix cigarette factory. Phoenix, any end cigarette, because you smoked any end, was not filtered. And in those times, the Empire was one of our favorite spots. So I did a little poem about the Empire Cinema, a tribute. Again, we must remember our past, and that, especially that gave us joy, made us happy. Empire Cinema. Empire, oh Empire, you crumbled at our feet. Your pillars gone, your stately form, but your house is still our seat. For empires that reigned before, like the British in conquest time, look and see their relics still, all pointing to their crime. Today, I pen an ode for you to keep you in our sight. We'll etch your name in granite rock. Your spot will be our light. The many moments, special moments spent in matinee at midnight show. Big Bear, like a titan, stood at the entrance to Pitt's door. The people ran to seek your shade when rain in torrents fell. Oh, the stories Mr. Gudday told. Well, some rolled and they laughed like hell. And women with their little trays, Miss Nella and them, they sold nuts and extra strong. Sparrow, the mighty Sparrow, even graced your walls. He sang his special songs. The stevedores gathered to chat and await the cargo ships. Masqueraders assembled close to you before they moved their hips. Change is constant, we all see, and move we must with time. I pause today, and I bow my head, Empire, and I thank you. I thank you for the lime. Yes, I remember Empire Cinema, and I'm sure many of you remember the Empire. God bless. May 2020 bring you great joy, happiness. Keep the love alive. Anthony Wendell de Riggs.
Anthony Wendell de Riggs. You're going to hear a little bit more from him in a discussion with Beverly Steele, which took place yesterday morning. You'll hear that in just a wee bit. But yes, how well we remember those days. Now, we've been joined by a few more people here. Let's see. Ryan Jabon says, good morning, George and friends. Prosperous New Year 2020. Went to the movies at the Empire Cinema in St. George just once as a boy. Anthony, man, yeah, I remember on weekends, used to hang out there. Those were the good old days. Stephen McDonald is listening from rainy St. Martin this morning. Good to see you, Stephen. Thanks for joining us. And Lawrence Kruthoff is saying good morning to you guys. Ernesto, oh, by the way, Chester Simon's also saying good morning from Switzerland. Ernesto says, Gigi, God is good. It was just not your time because of too much unfinished business he has for you. Yeah, Ernesto, everybody keeps telling me that. Wow. Having said that, it was scary. Having said that, I am so thankful because here I am, 2 years later. What else is there? Who else is there? Jean Pasco saying good morning to you guys. Hey, Linky is also with us this morning. Where is Sharon, Linky? I haven't seen her in a couple of days. Busy with a family, I would imagine. Okay, so yeah, that's it for the time being. 24 minutes after the hour, folks. Let's take first little break here now. Hold on a sec. Ernesto says, going to the cinema was a big thing in the days, especially on a Sunday matinee at 4:30 in Satyrs. You're absolutely right, fella. Don't ask me to tell you what movies I saw, but yeah, I remember the Sunday afternoon line. Okay, break time, and then we'll come back with a national report after this.
GRENADABROADCAST continues to celebrate 25 years of partnership and growth. So this December, we're giving every customer the chance to spin and win. Just pay your bill in full on or before December 18th. Then, on Wednesday, December 18th, join us at any GRENADABROADCAST customer care location. Spin to win giveaways that will make this season even more festive. Hams, groceries, gift vouchers, wine, electricity vouchers, and more. Join the celebration. December 18th, spin and win with GRENADABROADCAST. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
On behalf of the Hardware and Appliance Department, we would like to thank you, the customers, for shopping with us throughout the year of 2019.
And we would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a bright and prosperous 2020.
Season's greetings from your family at the food fair. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
We here at the Hubbard's Lumber Department would like to say happy holidays to one and all. Thanks for your support and all the best for the 2020.
Happy holidays and warm wishes for 2020 from the management and staff of Hubbard's Agency Department.
On behalf of the management and staff of Jonas Brown and Hubbard's Building Supplies, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, our valued customers, for your support during the year 2019. And we look forward to your continued patronage throughout the year 2020. Happy holidays to you.
From the management and staff of the Hubbard's Motor Department,
we thank you for your continued support throughout the year. We wish you a very Merry Christmas and a productive 2020.
Happy holidays!
Okie doke, there's a little note here just before we fire up the national report. Anthea says, I totally remember the Empire. Would run down Cooper Hill and down the steps if I was late for a movie. But in 1969, on January 3rd, it was there that a very inconsiderate individual told my sister our mother had died. So for me, I will always remember the Empire Cinema. We share your pain, Anthea. But time moves on and heals. God bless you, girl.
RGPF to impose penalties on people found jeopardizing the safety of others in the Molineux area. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Friday, December 27th, 2019, I am Rikisha St. Louis. Members of the Royal Grenada Police Force say penalties will be imposed on anyone found removing the barriers erected to prevent the flow of vehicular traffic into Molineux and surrounding areas. The road was recently deemed unsafe and the area was blocked off to prevent any further damage to people and property. Sherry Noel was on site on Friday morning and filed this report.
Officer in charge of the traffic department of the Royal Grenada Police Force, Superintendent Randy Cannott, and his team on Wednesday made another visit to the section of the Western Road Corridor at Molineux, St. George, where rapid land slippage is ongoing. The section of the road was deemed unsafe for motorists and closed off by the Acting Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin on December 16, 2019. Superintendent Connaught says, however, it was brought to the attention of the RGPF Traffic Department that some irresponsible individuals have removed the barriers and vehicles traversed the area in recent days.
And I say yet another assessment is big because of the fact that we continuously get reports that persons continue to violate the road closure. What has since happened, the Ministry of Works in collaboration and in discussion with the police have erected a row of boulders and culverts. We have since seen persons moving those culverts. Just this morning, having visited the area, myself and the other inspector had to realign some of the culverts there because persons continue to place their personal safety and the safety of others at risk. What is most alarming, I heard earlier this week as a matter of fact, buses were traveling along the closed stretch of road, placing the lives of the passengers at risk. And I just want to mention here that insurance would not cover for any accident or incident within that stretch of road because the Commissioner of Police has declared, on the authority given to him, has declared that section of road closed.
The closure, Superintendent Connaught says, was reinforced by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Infrastructure, Marina Jessamy, and signs were erected in the public domain.
And a general appeal was made for motorists to avoid this area. What has since been done is that 2 bypass roads have been utilized, creating one-way traffic, coming into St. George using the Molinier bypass and going from the St. George into the Western Corridor. We have created the safe area along Jones Road, and both areas are one-way traffic. So it's yet another visit, an appeal also again to the motoring public and to persons who would even normally walk through this area because what I've seen this morning, it has significantly worsened to that of a couple of days ago. So the area is totally unsafe, not just for motorists, but also for pedestrian traffic. Hopefully during the course of the day or before the end of the day, we'll be erecting some further signs to give more visibility, both day and night for persons, yet again, who are not familiar with this stretch of road. So we are going to actually be putting up a notice that would say that it is also unsafe to pedestrian traffic.
There are penalties by law, he says, that will be imposed on anyone seen removing the barriers that are put in place for the safety of the public.
It is a very dangerous situation now, as you've rightfully expressed, and it is a violation under Section 77(2), and it's a ticketable offense, maximum fine $1,500, and also the ticketed fine is $150. Also failing to obey or comply with a road traffic signal under Section 83(2) of the same act gives you a penalty on ticket $100 and maximum fine of $500. Now, the thing that I want persons to understand here is that should there be an accident or some unfortunate incident along this stretch of road, insurance will not cover. We, in response to that, have deployed officers and they will make periodical checks to ensure that there is total compliance. Members of the public, I just want you to be aware that you should not place your life at risk or allow anyone to further compromise your safety by traveling along that stretch of road. Just recently, I saw some photographs of persons sitting and maybe having a good time in the area here. Now, this is a situation that can just explode anytime.
Workmen from Grenlec were also at the area assessing the situation for relocation of transformers and poles before the situation deteriorates further. For the National Report, I am Sherian Noel.
Thank you, Sherian. Continuing, General Manager of the National Water and Sewage Authority, NWASA, Christopher Husbands, is concerned about the implications of the Molinier land slippage on the adequate supply of water in the area and as far as south of the island. During an exclusive interview with the Government Information Service on Friday, Husbands said it was important to visit the area along with Ministry of Works officials. There is a 10-inch main that passes through the area, so the company will need to devise a plan if things take a turn for the worse.
We are just trying to get an update. As I'm sure persons are aware, the situation continues to deteriorate. We've been monitoring it over the last week. We have a 10-inch water line that feeds the town of St. George, the cruise ships, all areas south of here, Grand Mall, Cherry Hill, River Road, etc. So, of course, it's proving a challenge for us. We have to come up with an alternative means of supply in a short period of time. So we had to look and see what options we have using this route.
Husband says in a worst case scenario, Nawasa will have to come up with an alternative bypass for the mains, which will mean an interruption of water supply to facilitate that process.
We may have to see how we could get a line to come around from Mount Morris, but that would be a reduced capacity. So unfortunately, customers would experience serious interruptions in supply. So we looking at it, we have a meeting now with the Ministry of Works engineer, and we are going to see what alternative plans we can put in place to minimize the interruptions once the situation gets worse than it is.
The houses in the immediate space where the land is rapidly slipping had to be abandoned and homeowners moved to a safe zone. This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Did you join the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985 and have since retired? This might be important to you. Government understands that the NIS pension may be insufficient to take care of your needs. So, while it awaits the court's ruling on the matter of pension for public officers, government has taken action to protect your quality of life so that you can take care of your needs in the meantime. Persons who joined the public service on or after February 22nd, 1985 and serve continuously in an established position for a minimum 26 years and 8 months and retired at age 60 may be eligible to receive an advance payment, which when combined with NIS represents 70% of their last salary. For more information, call or visit the Pension Secretariat in the Department of Public Administration, Ministerial Complex, 440-3767.
Welcome back. Hopes are high for 2020. Government ministers and parliamentarians have been emphasizing the need for more to be done in the new year to complement the positive growth and high implementation rate in 2019. The outlook for many, including Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, is that Grenada will continue to be represented on the international stage in politics, sports, culture and tourism, areas that promote further growth and development.
And while we know that we are not yet where we should be, economically and socially, we are still immensely grateful. We are not where we used to be. Today, our country can take our seat at the world's table and to be among the leading voices to help better the circumstances of others around the world. So, sisters and brothers, in the true spirit of Christmas, when gratitude abounds and hope remains alive, I thank you for your collective will in ensuring the development of our beautiful country.
Parliamentary Representative for St. Patrick West, Honorable Anthony Boson, is excited about project developments for the historic parish.
I look forward to the continuation and or commencement of a number of development projects to be undertaken in the new year, to include the Mount Rodney Sea Defense Project, the St. Patrick Road Improvement Project, the Mount Rich Skills Training and Furniture Making Center, the Low Income Housing Project in the Villa, the Redmond Farm Road Project, the construction of more toilets and bathroom facilities for the poor and vulnerable, the upgrading of the 4 recreation grounds, among others.
Honorable Clarice Modest Kerwin says an increase of $6 million for the tourism industry can go a long way. She anticipated the growth in visitor arrivals through heightened tourism campaigns and marketing strategies.
A significant focus for my ministry during 2020 will be an increase in the support given to the rural communities for tourism development. The GTA's key priority is to increase destination brand awareness and to develop high quality and unique tourism product while having a sustainable tourism focus. To facilitate these objectives, the GTA will launch a new interactive website and will engage to a greater extent in the robust marketing campaigns on a local, regional, and international level, with the ultimate aim to increase our visitor numbers.
That story just ended the national report for today, Friday, December 27th. Let's recap the top story. RGPF to impose penalties on people found jeopardizing the safety of others in the Molyneux area. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
It seems like the story that caught your attention this morning is the road slippage, and I can understand why. I mean, that is scary to sit here and watch that stuff, eh? John says here, he says, read the road erosion. I see a planning officer has been sent home. Bribery investigation pending. Yeah, John, we heard about that. That's another irritant on which to end this year. T.F. Richard says there are many more areas off-road that will suffer the same fate. Indeed. You know, T.F., when you look at it, boy, it seems like the whole island's in trouble. Not only is this slippage occurring up at Molyneux, but the beaches around this island are eroding big time. And TF also says, and this is not regarding the road issue, this is regarding the Christmas addresses by the various ministers. He says, hopes high, on your lookout, election coming. Yeah. Regarding the road deterioration, Ryan says, deteriorating and collapsing Molyneux Road has rapidly widening cracks. Scary stuff, boy. He says grant funds could assist residents along Molyneux Road to relocate. Ryan, I hope we're not going to wait on grant funds, because let me tell you, just in case you haven't heard, grant funds have been drying up big time. Big time. John says, Ryan, they had $14 million US granted 2 years ago. Yeah, absolutely, John. Okay, Pilgrims, break time, and we'll come back and move on with some really, really interesting stuff.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Can I have a chicken lunch, please? Large.
Real nice today.
I don't want that.
But you just asked for a chicken lunch.
I don't have problem with the lunch. Afraid the container.
What is the problem with it?
These styrofoam containers, they don't good for the environment. They shorten with life.
What foolishness you telling me? So what you want me to use?
Put my food in this.
Where you get that?
At the food fair, where you could get all biodegradable food boxes and disposable food supplies like cups, plates, anything you could think about. Name it, it's there. And they don't harm the environment. Food fair, taking the lead in cleaning up and protecting the environment. Hey, like you take me advice, you get in your biodegradable food supplies.
Well, girl, I supporting who's supporting the environment. That is why I shop in at food fair.
Food fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets. Products distributed by Hubbard's agency, Kirani James Boulevard.
Christmas safety tips. Always unplug Christmas tree lights before leaving home or going to sleep. Check your tree lights and outdoor lights for damage each year before you use them. Discard lights with frayed wires, loose connections, and cracked sockets. Do not overload your wall outlets or extension cords. Remind children never to touch lights or outlets. Select lights appropriately. Never use indoor lights outside or vice versa. Happy holidays from Grenadian.
Why wish upon a star? For a bank is better by far. Whatever you're wishing for this Christmas, will give you low interest and no fuss.
Co-op Bank is making Christmas wishes come true. Fix up your home, treat your loved ones, and get everything on your Christmas list this year with our no-fuss loans. As we count down the 12 days to Christmas, you can win awesome prizes every day. Special terms and conditions apply.
Christmas wishes come true with Co-op Bank and you.
Alrighty, folks, as Grenadians continue to become more alarmed about what some have described as a foreign invasion of sorts, we heard from some yesterday who joined in expressing concern, but also saw some opportunities. Grenadian Dennis Charles, he pointed out the need for us to change our mindset towards investment. Check this out.
2 months ago, I returned to Grenada for a brief look, just to survey the land a little bit, looking for opportunities. I want to return, I would say, if it's not next year, probably within the next 4 years, I want to return home permanently and contribute. But what I've seen driving around and scoping the scene, we tend to believe that investments or opportunities are only there for foreigners. And it is something wrong. It's a concept that we have to change. No foreign person coming into a country like Grenada is coming to build. And we have to wrap our minds around that. We give concessions, you know, tax breaks and all of that, but they come in to exploit. We have to be real. Make their money, send the money back to their home country, not necessarily to build. So it would take Grenadians to return in droves to rebuild the country. There are upwards of 200,000 Grenadians living outside of Grenada compared to inside. So we have twice as many Grenadians outside the country as inside the country. That's a lot in the diaspora. So take England, Toronto, Canada, other parts of Europe, etc., Trinidad, all over the place. We have talent that we can bring to bear on the economy back home. And Grenadians reaching retirement age, returning with their pension or any investment or retirement account, contributing their expertise in various fields. That is what is needed. Grenadians rebuilding their own country. Not this fallacy about foreign investors and all sorts of schemes. That's a joke. It would never happen. So from what I saw, I drove around Grenville. I'm from St. Andrews. And every store, almost, that I went into, there is a foreigner selling. I have no problems with our Indian brethren and investors and all of that. Fine, I don't have no problem with that. But we cannot have our economy dominated by foreigners. We need our own folks from England, from Toronto, from Brooklyn, New York, coming back, contributing to the medical field, to whatever field they want to contribute. That is growth. That is empowerment. You call that financial, economic empowerment. That is what we need, not outsiders, okay? Anyhow, I want to talk a little bit about agriculture. It's the base of our economy, and it will remain so. Tourism is part of it, and the hotels and all of that happening in Grenada. I think they're building about 2 large 5-star hotels in Lasajes, I believe, and so on. I have no problem with that. But we have to look at the concessions given to these multinationals, you know, to come in and set up shop. Would they restrict access for local people to go to the beach? How much would we retain? Because we give them so much tax breaks and so forth. How much would the economy in Grenada take from their exploitation? In other words, we have to put a handle on the managers and the top tier workers. You know, we might get a little security job here and there, maybe somebody to wash dishes and clean the yard and all of that. That's not development. The bulk of the income generated by those activities cannot be paid to people that they bring in from the outside. We have to empower our locals to get the top tier jobs and plow back that money in the local economy. That is development. So the whole concept of foreign investors. Yeah, you're there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, the whole concept of foreign investors coming in and they would build and all of that, that's a joke. It doesn't happen. It never will. Okay? We are the ones, after we have acquired whatever learning and skills and all of that abroad, we come back and contribute to the economy. One, I want to talk about medical marijuana a little bit. I don't smoke. I don't smoke. But St. Vincent and the Grenadians, I think they're leading the way in producing medical marijuana. There is a huge market abroad for that. Cannabis-based products. We have the School of Medicine we could partner with. They could help extract all the medicinal components from the plant and export it abroad. And we could make millions with all the wasted lands that we have all over the country. There's a lot we can do. Ecotourism is something that is good too. We have hiking trails. We have Fedo Camp. It is world known, it's famous. Seven Sisters Waterfall. Annadale Fall. I heard it's sold, I don't know. We have the Welcome Stone in Livera, overlooking Livera. All those areas can be developed, right? And attract millions to our shows. It's not only Granans. We have to diversify a bit from the Granans frame of mind, the St. George frame of mind. We have to have an approach where we empower all the other parishes in the country, not only St. George's, creating opportunities for growth and development. So we have to have that mindset, broad-based and diversified, balanced approach.
All right, Dennis.
Now, I have generalized, and I'll get into specifics right now.
All right, hold on, Dennis. We really don't have an awful lot of time. We only have about 9 minutes left. But, you know, essentially what I'm hearing you talk about here is a change in mindset. We need to have a change in mindset, okay? Now, you also talked about agriculture. Give me some specific areas where you see an awful lot of potential for the development of agriculture.
Yes. Recently, I read a report that in Barbados, they are experimenting with breadfruit flour. I came from the countryside, St. Andrews, and there are lots of trees, breadfruit trees, round the clock throughout the year that produce fruits. We could slice, we could fry, we could package, and make breadfruit chips, just like you eat potato chips, right? We have fruits such as guava, gospo. We blend that with passion fruit, whatever it is, and we make our own drinks. We could package. Grenada should not be importing juice or sugar water from Trinidad. We have better quality of water from there, you know? We should not. So there is a lot we can do. In terms of soursop, I ate some ice cream, soursop ice cream in Grenville, actually in Soubise. I was going through St. David's. Man, it tasted so good I had to lick my finger, right? Okay, we could export more of that. We do export soursop, but in the raw form. It is better to add value to semi-process, like in the case of Juve chocolate or Belmont, Belmont Estate, they are producing chocolate too. We have mangoes. They fall on the ground and rot. Nobody's doing anything. Damsel, tamarind. We could make juice. We could always blend, make a cocktail, and have our own fruit punch in Grenada. We're not supposed to be importing those things from foreign countries. And I have nothing against Trinidad, but it doesn't make sense. We have more fruits than them, but we let ours rot. Now, the GDP, well, I don't want to get into economic things, but Grenada imports somewhere around $36 million. I mean, $196 million a year, and export something to the tune of 36 million. So there is an opportunity there to cut down on our imports and try to export more to generate foreign currency. So government and private citizens should focus on developing what we have. We have enough. They spoil, right? And I don't know, maybe the banks should be a little bit more sensitive to helping set up maybe factory shells and all of that, if the government wants to partner with it, and provide the space for locals to produce in a more sanitary environment some of the things that just waste around the place, and we can generate income from that. So the opportunities are there.
Okay,
ecotourism.
Dennis,
yes.
Dennis, I don't think you'll get any argument when you suggest that some of the banks are a stumbling block, one of the stumbling blocks, okay? But there's a comment here from somebody named M. Claudius McLeod. He says, Dennis, one of the biggest obstacles one meets in investing in Grenada is family, who, instead of seeking to form alliances to assure success, choose to fight and obstruct because of jealousy and short-sighted interests. What say you?
I could say yes to that, but I believe going into the new year, we have to focus more on positive energy. We could always get instances of, families letting you down, stealing from you. I know folks that send clothes and other items to sell back home, and the families wouldn't give them a cent or account for whatever it is they did with the monies and so on. Yes. But sometimes we have to look beyond the bend, get over the obstacle, and be optimistic.
All right, here's another comment.
We would always be able to find something negative.
Here's a comment from Jean Pasco. She says, my goodness, Dennis, you are so correct about the concessions given to foreign entities. What concessions are given to local people? Nothing.
None. Because our frame of mind is not there.
Isn't that a little bit extremist? Because I'm sure that locals do get concessions, but somehow it seems to me that what is largely lacking is the know-how to go ahead and set up a business. You know, there are a lot of great ideas running around this country, Dennis. No shortage of great ideas, okay? But people just may not know how to pursue the development. What say you?
That is correct, but also government has to be an enabler. Government has to partner, to encourage, to sort of lead the way, you know what I'm saying? And in many instances, we don't have ministries to talk about. Those who won the seats, they control the entire constituency, even if they don't know anything about anything, right? So we don't have functioning government ministries that one can go and sit with a minister who is knowledgeable, experienced, let's say talk about producing some kind of product, I don't know, whatever it is, and talking about assistance and helping with marketing strategies and all of that. There is nothing like that in Grenada, you know? It's like the blind leading the blind. So the way the country is being run right now under this government, there must be a change. We have to put back functioning ministries with ministers or supporters who know how to enable, how to encourage, how to support growth and development.
Okay, so that was Dennis Charles talking with us yesterday on the weekend edition of Sundays with George Grant. Now, just want to acknowledge the presence of a few other people here on social media this morning. Charles Norma is there, Kennedy Phillip is there, Yvonne Joseph, Bernard Gilbert, Cheryl Jarvis is there, Russell Abraham, Jude Francis, Princess Paul, Laura Thatcher Fletcher. Hello, Laura. Good morning. How are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Now, Pilgrims, here comes our final segment on this Monday morning. Historian Beverly Steele and author-poet Anthony DeRiggs spent some time yesterday reminiscing about some of Grenada's lost traditions. Interesting stuff, as always. Check it out.
Yes, I'm definitely hooked. From my early, before I came to live here, we used to visit every Christmas and sometimes in the summer as well. I spent 4 years in Trinidad before I came here. So that I knew Grenada by the time I came to live here. And there was a quality about it that I just loved. I'm very much one for romanticizing things, and to me, Grenada was a very romantic in the poetic sense. And I did not know it then, but I know it now that the scent of nutmegs hung in the air. Grenada has a different smell to anywhere, a fragrance I should say, to anywhere else. And all of this, together with the family that I met here and so on, prepared me for living here. And I must say that I have enjoyed living here. I would not now choose to live anywhere else.
You know, you mentioned the nutmegs, Beverly, and that just gave me a flashback. I had been away from this place for 16 years, and the night I stepped off the airplane at Point Celine, the first thing I smelled was nutmeg. There isn't a nutmeg tree near the Point Celine, but you could smell it in the air. And even when the cruise ships, remember the days before we had the Melville Street port, the ships used to anchor offshore. Passengers will tell you that as soon as they step off the ship offshore, they can smell the nutmeg in this place.
Definitely,
Yeah?
definitely. And as well as that, one of the things that I loved about Grenada was its bread. Now, we kind of lost the tradition, but my mother-in-law lived next door to Aline's shop. I don't know if you remember Aline's shop.
No.
And Aline's shop used to specialize, they didn't bake it, but they used to specialize in bread. Every single kind of bread that you could imagine. Coming from Jamaica and Trinidad, I was accustomed to loaves of sliced bread, right? But every kind of bread, and the fragrance used to come and mix with the nutmeg and other things. Gosh, yeah.
Beverly, having been here from the age of 30, which for all intents and purposes I'm assuming is a little bit more than 2.5 years ago, I want you to, and this is where I'm going to bring Anthony in as well, because over that time, there's certain traditions I'm sure have jumped out at you, Grenadian traditions, you know. Maybe similar in some ways to Jamaican, maybe not. Speak to me for a minute about one of the most popular ones. Most popular Grenadian tradition that you're probably never, ever going to forget about this place.
Well, I've already mentioned the bread, huh?
Yeah.
I believe that Blue Danube and some other bakeries are continuing the tradition of baking the traditional, and actually it's a French heritage, different kind of penny bread and so on, but they're fast disappearing. And I hope we will never lose the tradition of baking breads in small bakeries. I know that we have now I don't want to give any free advertisement. There's a bakery that's doing loaf bread. You don't put it in a pan, so you don't get that regular shape, and it's all the more delicious. That is one kind of bread, and then you have your penny bread and so on. So I'm looking forward to the continuation, your butter bread and so on, continuation of that tradition. Then we have all the traditions of cookery. I'm starting with the stomach, right, and the drinks. Dennis was talking a while ago about soursop ice cream, nutmeg ice cream, banana bread, using the local products to make unique Grenadian cuisine. But when I came here, the food was absolutely heavenly. And then I said, well, how come Grenadian food tastes so different and so delightful? And they told me it is the bouquet garni. Now they had to explain what they meant. But I wonder how many young people know what bouquet garni is. It is the group of spices that you tie together and you throw in the pot. Thyme and some other things, right? And if they don't know, that's a tradition lost that we need to revive. So then we have things like the dress, the beautiful dress that we have more or less abandoned, right? It should come out at Christmas time, every lady, instead of these tight looking dresses that are most uncomfortable. put on your wide skirts that you can move in. You know, the gentlemen also have their colorful dress that they could wear, either a cummerbund or a jacket, waistcoat with a white shirt. We have more or less abandoned that. Our dances, around this time, Christmas and New Year, you know, if you rent a school hall or some other hall.
Lions Den, sorry. Yeah.
Yes, Lions Den. Yeah. No, Lions Den was, I think, came after. I'm talking about Lancers and quadrille. Right. Lions Den, you would have your beautiful ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
And that also has been abandoned, right? The yacht club, not yacht club, tennis club used to be famous for their New Year's Eve.
Richmond Hill?
Oh, Richmond Hill Tennis Club. And I don't know anywhere. Somebody was telling me that they went to a New Year's Eve dance and they couldn't even move. It was so jammed. Okay, so, and as to ballroom dancing, forget it. You see it performed on stage, maybe some Latin dance. But we have lost the art of that kind of thing. It's jiggle, jiggle, wine, and that's it. Anybody does their own thing.
I'll tell you one other person who shares that view about the wine, and that's this guy here who's looking up to the sky there. Anthony!
Good morning, good morning.
You know, I'm sure you've seen Anthony. Anthony's very active on social media with some pieces he does, which brings back so many memories of days gone by. Anthony, you're sitting here listening to Beverly, and I bet you're having all sorts of flashbacks.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Are you hearing me good?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
All right, good. Well, let me say good morning to Beverly and all those on the program. And Beverly, I'm sorry I didn't get to meet you in Grenada. I was there recently because you are one of the people that I actually want to meet, because your book on Grenada should be reading compulsory for all students in Grenada. It's such a wonderful book. But again, we are in an age where literature and history and the theater and all that stuff takes a backseat to jump up on the whining. So we must say, and I have to say that I appreciate you as a person, your literary work, and I'm sure many people respect you for what you have done, putting Grenada's history together. Because I often say, Marcus Garvey, your own fellow man, made a very important statement when he said that the people who neglect the history and culture is like a tree without roots. You have no roots. What are you standing on? Nothing to hold on to. The Americans do it. The Chinese, who are spreading all over the world, they walk with their history. And we as Grenadians must respect and document our history. So in this regard, I must say thank you, Beverly. Personally, thank you to the world here for your wonderful work. Now, coming back to what I think tradition, our Grenadian tradition, I would say the warmth, the love. Christmas, the holiday season, was the only time you could go at somebody's house and eat cake, drink ginger beer sorrel. They invited you. There was a woman in my neighborhood. She used to call all the neighborhood children, bring them in, give them sorrel, ginger beer, and all that stuff. And we felt happy for sharing. We didn't have much. Some people say the word, the colloquial term, scrunching. But you know what? We had love. And as we delve into materialism and follow all the American pattern, we seem to forget that the people among us, some of them, they just don't have. So whatever we have, we should share the warmth, share the love. And I would like to see this continue, definitely. I would like to see that love and feeling that we as Grenadians are known for. I would definitely like to see it continue.
You know, you guys probably aren't aware of this, but you're arousing a lot of curiosity out there this morning in social media. Anthea Rolo says they should bring back the leavened bread.
Yes, that was one of them that we used to make and people used to enjoy. And I don't know when last I've seen it.
I don't know if you know Lydia James, but Lydia says, oh yeah, leavened bread was the best. Now, here's a note from Claudius McLeod. He says, as a kid, every yard in my village had a mud oven, right? Now most are gone. To this day, I can taste the deliciousness of coconut drops, tarts, pound cakes, and breads from those ovens. That's a tradition that should not be lost. Let me hear you.
Quite true. Now, mud ovens are wonderful, and there's nothing wrong in building one in your backyard. You may not choose to use mud, or you could use brick. Just like we have barbecues, you could cook your food on the stove, but then you could go outside and have a barbecue as well. So, the time is the essence for a lot of people. Most people do not have a lot of time, but surely at certain seasons of the year, and I would think for bread is more Easter than Christmas, you bake your own bread in the brick oven as part of your tradition, you know? And I would like to say, Wendell, I agree with you. The love is being replaced by some kind of viciousness and hate. And I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. And I think one of the reasons why this love is disappearing is that we're abandoning our music. When you say the lady used to invite you all into her for a feast of ginger beer, sorrel, and cake, remember the adults, after the children are practically gone to sleep, the adults used to go from door to door to door singing. And they also used to get their share of cake and sorrel, and sometimes the sorrel had a little something in it, right? That serenading, that parang, as they call it in Trinidad. I will see it again. It devolved into a truck with people on it on Christmas morning singing. I don't even see that again. Some of the trucks had a steel band. I think we had one up in St. David's somewhere.
This year?
One, yes.
Yeah, one past year.
They're probably the same. One in the whole of Grenada, my goodness gracious, you know? So where is our traditions going? What are we replacing it with, you know? And these things used to bring so much joy and so much involvement of people in Christmas and the holidays. So I think we really need to seriously look at what we have lost and retrieve it before it's gone for good. An old gentleman told me once that in his village, this is when the Moko Jumbas used to come out. This is when the stilt walkers used to come out. Now, I don't mind if you bring them out for any and every occasion, but don't forget Christmas, because this is the origin of them. This is when they used to be practiced by anybody who could balance on those stilts. And if the tradition wasn't there, you couldn't use it for the prince, you couldn't use it at sports meets, you could use it at carnival. So I would like to see some of these things, definitely. And before I give up the mic, the tradition of dressing for your religious service. Now anything goes. Christmas, you put on your Christmas dress, you made a special Christmas dress, or bought a suit to wear to your service. Now, first of all, a lot of people don't go, and secondly, I mean, what are you celebrating? Christmas, right? And then they dress any old home, right? You don't see the pretty dandans that you used to see before. And people used to enjoy them, used to love to see the little children in their fancy wear, you know? And I think that visually and emotionally and culturally we are deprived.
And George, just for one moment here, when we speak of the good old days, I know you get a lot of backlash. People say, man, this man talking about every generation have a good old days. Somebody can reflect on some good times in the past. Yes, it's true. And what I want to say specifically is that change, I am not against change. Worthwhile change. Change for the better. Now, because we know the old adage, change is constant. Things are changing. But there are some things that must remain as constant, as Shakespeare says, as the Northern Star. You got to keep it, because you want to tell me you're going to stop bathing? This is constant. You're going to stop. Respect, for instance. Let's think for just one moment of respect, especially for elders. All African societies where respect was high on the scale of things. Now you have people disrespecting their grandparents, their parents, and oh man, it's times have changed. Get with the program and all that stuff. No, there are certain things that must remain constant. Respect is one. When I was a little boy in primary school, we had prefects. A prefect was a person like me, same age, but they made him a prefect, and if I came late or I said something bad, the prefect put me in line for blows. Now, I'm not well with this blows thing, but still, I'm just making a reference that we, at that time, had respect even for our students who were the same age with us. Now, so just saying that there are certain attributes, certain qualities that must remain with us. So when people say, okay, it's time, the good old days, times have changed, so many things have changed, and Google is making it worse, because students today, many of them, they don't even have to study. They get a question and they get somebody on the internet and say, or to Google it and change up the words and they answer the question, you know? So just to say that there are certain things that we must keep in a good range. And yes, change is good, but there are certain things that must remain as constant.
Oh yeah, reminiscing about traditions that have apparently been lost. There's a little note here from Ryan. Ryan got to doing some reminiscing of his own. He says here, George, we had a large biscuit tin balanced on a coal pot fire baking bread with fire on top. Remember that? Been there, done that. And John responds saying, Ryan, fire on top, fire below. Yeah, Pilgrims, listen, I forgot a little while ago to acknowledge, I see we've also been joined by Latoya Bideau. You probably noticed that this morning, Arthur Langine is not with us. Why not? Well, if you were listening to us yesterday, you heard me mention that Arthur took off on a cruise, right? He's cruising right now. I think he's going to Mexico. But just a short while ago, on Messenger, he sent me a video which appears to have been taken from the cruise ship of a dock below. So it looks like they're berthing at that dock this morning. So I sent him a response, asking, so where's this? And he says it's Coco Key. So that's where Arthur is this morning. Arthur, certainly hope you're having a blast. Enjoy. Okay, Pilgrims, 23 minutes after the hour. That's just about going to do it for us on this Monday morning. Final Monday of 2019. One day to go. Hope you can join us tomorrow morning as well. As always, a parting word here from the Holy Scriptures. Let me see if I'm missing anything. No. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 to 17. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything, stand. Stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. Pilgrims, that reading from Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 to 17. Okay, my dear friends, off we go. Run some errands as we continue our countdown to 2020. Can you believe it? Let us be thankful. Let us be thankful to God for everything. Things we got, and for the things we ain't got as well. He's watching out for us. By His grace, I shall see thee tomorrow morning at the same time, 9 o'clock. God bless you. So long.